All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Secrets to Body Confidence with me, Marla Mervis-Hartmann. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. I'm so glad that you're joining me. And my intention for being with you today and for sharing this is for you to get out of any sort of pain and discomfort you have with your body, with your relationship with your body, with your relationship with food, and to turn that around and to have more confidence in your being, more confidence in your body. So, and it's not just about the confidence, it's about what the confidence will do for you. And that's really, really key, right? That's the most important part. So, as you're joining here today, everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. Whether you're watching this on the replay, or watching this live with me right now, I invite you to get a journal, get a piece of paper. I want you to take some notes because I want you to not just have this as an experience right now, but for you to have it so you can come back to it. So it's something that is your reference, right? And I'm doing this more like a workshop rather than calling it a webinar because I want you to feel like we're together in this, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little invocation. We're going to get ourselves set. We're going to get ourselves ready. I'm going to share with you the presentation, and then afterwards we're going to have a Q&A. So as we're going along, I invite you to write some notes, write some questions to me, and later we'll do the presentation. I'll come back on and you can ask any question that you had about the content, about anything in my life, anything you need. That's what we're going to do. Okay. But so one of the most important things that I think that we need to do before we jump in is to get into our body. I want you to have an experience, have this experience, not just from your head up or even just your heart and your head. I want this is full body confidence, right? So what I want you to do, now if you're somewhere where you're not able to do this fully, then just move your body however. But what I'd like for you to do is, we can move our bodies anywhere we are. I want you to just get up. And I just want you to feel your feet on the ground. Bend your legs a little bit. And then go ahead and just move your body around. Give yourself a nice stretch. Stretch, 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 stretch. Big inhales, big exhales. Go ahead and shake it out a little bit. Roll those hips around. Yeah, just get into your body. Let's not have this just be me and you watching me. I want you to do it too. Big inhales, big exhales. One more. Whatever feels good to you, right? I'm doing this because it feels good to me. I want you to move your body how it feels good to you, okay? So now we're just going to come back. Notice how you're feeling. Notice how that felt to just, get into your body. And notice your heart beating, or notice what feels alive. Maybe even notice where the tension is. That's very possible too. And what I want you to do is I want you just to close your eyes and put one hand on your heart. And I want you to get very, very clear on your intention. What is your intention for being here? What would you like to learn? What would you like to experience? What feels really important for you right now? What do you want to let go of? What information do you need? I want you to close your eyes and feel into your heart. What has made you come here right now to experience this? And when you have that, I want you just to breathe into that intention. Take a few beautiful breaths. And I know my intention for you, my intention for myself for you is that no matter where you are right now, no matter how you are feeling, I want you to feel better when you leave. I want you to feel a notch up, or I want you to feel 3 notches up, or I want you to feel relieved. I want you to feel good. Better, better, better than you are right now. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to share with you. Let's see here. All right. Here we are. Secrets to Body Confidence Workshop for Women. I think actually we may have some men on this call, which is great and fine as well. So welcome to everyone who is here. And here we are, Secrets to Body Confidence Workshop for Women. Let's dive in. So we're going to teach you, I'm going to share with you how to have body confidence without losing a pound. So we're going to talk about this more, but I know that for a lot of people, that's a really scary notion. It's like, no, I have to lose weight. I have to lose weight. I can't have body confidence without losing weight. What are you talking about? Are you crazy? And I get it. But you're on this webinar. You're not on a webinar about losing weight, right? You came because you wanted to hear my story and how I got myself to body confidence and how I can help you do the same. So yes, so I'm going to teach you by showing you how I shifted my body shame into body confidence, how I turned that around for myself. I'll share my story, and then I'm going to share you with very important tips that you can do to turn that around. And secrets, yes, they're my secrets. So here I am, Marla, and many of you know me. If you don't, I am Marla Mervis-Hartmann, and I am known as a TEDx speaker. I'm a coach. I'm a Reiki master. I've been a Reiki master for over 12 years. I'm a mama. I live in Topanga, California. I'm the creator of Love Your Body, Love Yourself, and the Pleasure Plan. And I've supported thousands of women to have a healthy relationship with their body, accepting their body, honoring their body, and loving their body. So that's me all dolled up. And here's what we're going to learn in this workshop. You're going to learn how to accept your body, so you can make empowered choices for your life. I want you to know how to love your body without having to look like a supermodel. And that goes back to what I was just saying. Like we want to expand our idea of beauty, expand our ideal standard of beauty for ourselves so we can love the body that we're in. And so we can get on with our life, right? Because obsessing takes so much bloody time. Does it not? It's so exhausting to be obsessing about our bodies. It has been for me. I want to teach you how to avoid beating yourself up so you can feel good in your body, so you can connect to your body, so you can feel juicy and alive and sexy. And I want you to find the new way to find pleasure in your life. Okay? It's different than where you are right now. And that's important. So why is this important to you now? So why are you here? What is important to you now? Well, society is constantly telling us that we're not good enough. It is constantly saying that we don't have the right body. We need to diet. We need to exercise more. We need to watch what we eat. We're constantly being bombarded by negative feedback about ourselves. We're being told that we're not enough. And we need the other side of it, which is why you're here. You're here so that you can hear the other side of the story. You can be given tools to create body confidence, right? When the rest of the world is saying something different. So you can start living your life, right? I mean, come on, people. It's, like I said, it's exhausting to be in this place. And when we have confidence in our body, when we have confidence in ourselves, we can begin to look at our life in a very different way. We can look at our life and not be stopped because of the fear of what we look like, right? So this isn't just about body confidence. It's what body confidence can create in our lives. It's important because it helps us to be more present with our family and with our relationships. I know, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, but in my experience with my family and relationships is that I wasn't as present because I was in my head. I was obsessing. If we were out to dinner and I'm hanging out with you. I'm actually, maybe thinking about what I'm going to eat. And that's not good. That's really missing out on the opportunity for intimate connections. Peace of mind. Yeah, peace of mind and stopping the insanity. My life, now that I have confidence in my body, there's so much more peace in my life and in my mind. The insanity is gone, and that's pretty powerful. And yes, having body confidence really helps us. It's a catalyst to have more freedom with our food. And more freedom with our food helps us to have more body confidence. They help us, they work together. Okay, so is this for you? So if you're here, it obviously is. But if you're questioning whether this is for you, this is for you if you're sick of obsessing about your body and food and you want that freedom that I just talked about. If you are really at the point where you're like, I'm done feeling like crap. I really do not want to feel this way anymore. I'm ready to do something radical to have more positivity in my life. And if you're holding back from creating your life and you want to take your power back, when you're saying, I'm done. I'm done holding back. I know that my life can be so much bigger and so much brighter. This is the opportunity. Body confidence can help you with that. And this is kind of tongue in cheek, but not really. If you already know that you're beautiful, if you know that you're hot and you want permission to own it, this is for you. I always knew that I was a pretty girl, but I never really let myself own that. I didn't give myself permission, and it was very painful. So here's a disclaimer. I'm not going to be talking about weight loss. I'm not going to be giving you any weight loss tips. I'm not going to be giving you any fitness tips. And I'm not going to be here buttering you up. I'm not going to be telling you, oh, you're beautiful, you're great. Yeah, this is really important for you to love your body, be in acceptance. No, because it doesn't work, right? I know it doesn't work. It never worked for me. Many people would tell me that I was beautiful, but I didn't hear it. I didn't accept it. It's for you to find it for yourself. And I'm going to teach you how to find it, right? And the other thing is that you're not going to leave this webinar completely healed. What I'm going to teach you right now are steps and tools that you can begin to implement in your life, right? So I already told you my intention was that where you are right now, you're in a better place when you leave. Absolutely. And there could be those aha moments where you're like, oh, I will never be the same after this workshop with Marla. It is just, that was fantastic. And I've learned so much. Wonderful. Great. That's my intention. And it's for you to take some of these tools and begin to implement it. All right. So I just wanted to put this in there because I feel like it's really important. I've had people say to me along the way, oh, Marla, it's easy for you to have body confidence, but you don't need to lose weight. And I do. I actually need to lose weight. People have said that. So yeah, I mean, you can do it, but that has nothing to do with me. And I wanted to tell you that at 10 pounds lighter, I hated my body. Hated my body. It really has nothing to do with the weight that you're at. And I know maybe you don't even want to hear that, but it's true. So people who we look at and we're like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. Doesn't mean she has body confidence, right? We can have a body confidence in any body that we're in. And there's always an excuse to not love our bodies, right? We can always look in the mirror and find something like, oh my gosh, my hair, my eyes, this, that. Like there's always something to criticize. We always have an excuse to be like, no, I can't love my body because of X. Oh, I can't be okay today because, my thighs touch when I walk, or whatever the story is. There's always an excuse, and do you want that? Do you want there to always be an excuse, or can we rise above that? And this is your choice to learn a new way to be with your body. So it's nothing to do with me. I'm giving you the information. This is my body. That is your body, right? And what I have found along the way is that all the things that I've learned for myself that I've implemented with my clients, no matter what size they were, whether they were quote unquote underweight or quote unquote overweight, right? The tools that I'm going to teach you have created lasting impact. So let's dive right in. So to my story, here I am. I'm about 10 years old. And this is about the time when I started tracking my food. 10 years old, I started, I found my journal a couple of years ago. And I noticed that my journal, my diary, it was called a diary then, my diary at that point was very similar entries to the one I had that I had just written that day, which was, it was a good day or it was a bad day. I ate this, and this, and I want to lose this much weight. And I started doing that at around this age. Very sad. Very, very sad to me that this started at this young age. Look at me. Don't I look so cute? But it kind of started off, and for years and years, my life was full of a lot of binging, a lot of purging, a lot of exercise, a lot of over exercising. There it is, over exercising, under exercising. Really obsessed about my body. Spending way too much bloody time thinking about my body, way too much time thinking about my food, constantly worrying about my body and constantly comparing myself to others. It was like a full-time job. What does she look like? Wonder what she eats. Oh my gosh, am I as big as her? Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. She must not eat breakfast, or whatever it was. It was constantly comparing myself to other people, and really in the cycle of the dieting, feeling good about my body for a while, white knuckling my food, and then to go into a big binge, which created so much shame, so much angst, and then once again starting the diet again, and this was a through line in my life. This was always, I was always at some point in this, I was always at some point along the path and the cycle of the binge, the purge, the diet, the feel great, the feel exalted, and then feeling like crap again. There was always something like that going on. And when I think about it, when I think about like when things began to really shift for me, and when I was like really like, oh no, like I need some bloody help around this. This is not getting any better. I can't get myself out of this cycle, is when my first hitting rock bottom was when, after like really heavy duty dieting, I was at a point where I was like, really believed and thought that if, I'm kind of backtracking a little bit because I jumped ahead of myself here. I was at a point where I was like, the only thing that's wrong with my life is what I look like and my food. Like, I really believed that if my food was in check and I looked a certain way, then my life was just going to even out. It was just going to work. It was just going to be fine. I just knew it. I had this feeling in my gut that was just like, I know once my body weighs this much weight, that means that I've gotten the food figured out, and I've got it. I nailed it. So I really began on a journey to lose weight. Even more so, it was like it was like the real white knuckling time, right? And I did. I lost a lot of weight, and I got on the scale, and I was at that number. I was at that number that told me that I was fine, that it was supposed to tell me that I was going to be completely normal, that my life was going to be great, that it was going to be perfect. And it was anything but that. I was so miserable. Oh my God, it was so miserable. I was at the height of or the bottom of it all, right? Really like so much shame around my body, so much restricting, so much pain and discomfort. And it's when I'm like, no, it's time. This isn't getting any better where I am right now. This is getting worse. And I need to get some help. So I did. And I started on a long journey, a really long journey of figuring out what I could do to get myself to a place where I am right now. And it took me a while. And that's one of the reasons I'm here with you, is because I don't want you to have to take as long as I did. It's not really necessary to go through as much pain as I did. It's not necessary to do that. So I'm glad that you're here, because I want to share, really deeply share how we can get out of this. So I'm not one to really be regretful about my life, but I do have to acknowledge that I've missed out on a lot of things. I missed out on deeper connections with others. I can remember like fighting with a boyfriend to get him to leave so that I could binge, like a whole beautiful evening we could have had. But I wanted him to leave so that I could be alone with my food. I didn't set big goals. There were things that I didn't really completely go for because my goals were small. My goals were around my body. My goals were how much can I weigh, right? And that made my life small. It didn't have me really expand myself. It also really let me hide, because a lot of this time was around when I was acting. I was in my acting career, and I wouldn't show up for things because I didn't think that I would ever get hired in the weight that I was. So I didn't have those big goals. Excuse me. And I didn't, like, my education, my meaningful education was calories and what's the right diet. So I wasn't learning things that could have really escalated my life. That's sad to me. I feel sad for myself around that. I forgive myself for sure. Definitely forgive myself. And I could have had a lot better sex for sure. I really think about all the times that I wasn't as connected to myself when I was having sex, or not even allowing myself to have sex because of the shame that I had in my body, the way I would check out when I was having sex, the discomfort I had around someone being close to my body when I didn't feel good in it, right? All those times that I missed out on that connection, that intimate connection, right? So here I am, right? And that was, even, I have to say, even my recovery took a long time, as I said, and I definitely had moments where things were really good. But I eventually went back down into this place where things were good, but there was still a slight fear in the back of my head. And when I think about that, I think about really like the reason people ask me, here I am, people will ask me, Marla, what do you think made this happen for you? Like, why do you feel like, what was this imprint? Why do you feel like you had this journey with food in your body? And this is part of the story that I haven't told that much, because I used to be really kind of embarrassed by it, quite honestly. And it's really important for me to share, because now that I have shared it, I've noticed that this part of my story is huge and it is really important to be shared. So now I'm like, screw it. If it's going to help people, I'm going to share it. And we're going to dive into that because it's up for all of us. But as a young girl, as I showed you there, I had a lot of attention given to me. I had a lot of attention on my body. People would make comments about my body as that little girl that I showed you. I And it was very confusing to me because it was like this imprint of, why does my body matter? Why are they talking about me looking like a fox and wanting to look like me when I'm younger, when they're older? And it just made me realize that my body meant something and it was important, and it was how I got attention. So here I am here. Also, you'll see this is me on stage, it's me being Tintinnabula, and funny thing happened on the way to the forum. So on top of getting attention on my body, I had a lot of attention on me. I was star on the stage. I was a good athlete. I was student leader. I had a lot of friends, and a lot of people really liked me, and I got a lot of attention for that. And that was very authentic. That's who I was. That is who I am. But then I noticed the repercussions of that, the repercussions of what happens when you get a lot of positive attention. People were not nice to me. People were mean to me. They were jealous. I felt uncomfortable because it felt like my shining was painful to other people, maybe painful to my sister or painful to a friend. And I didn't know what to do with that. I began to pull myself back. I began to let this shining light get really dim. And I also began to use food and my body as a way to escape. It was uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do with those feelings. So I would eat or obsess about eating, or I would obsess about my body. It was very confusing. I'm supposed to look this way because I'm going to get attention. But if I look too good, then I'm going to get the wrong type of attention. So it was a lot of stress. And I didn't realize this, until way later in my recovery. But the reason I'm talking about this very specifically with you today is because we're talking about confidence. And here I was, a very confident human being, and I wasn't allowing myself to be. So my intention, my very clear intention for this conversation today is to not go into where you're having low self-esteem, going into those places where you feel really badly about yourself. That's important to do. Like go in and be like, oh, I feel bad about this. Let me look at this. That's not what I want to do right now. I'm not going to convince you that you're amazing in the places that you already feel not good about yourself. What I want us to do is, I want you to notice where you already know that you're amazing. What parts of you, what you look like, who you are as a human being, where in your life do you already know that you're amazing and you're not giving yourself permission? Where you're not giving yourself like bloody permission to feel amazing. Full permission, baby. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about full permission. And that's what I want us to dive into. And we're going to look at where we don't let ourselves fully shine. So I've had many clients that I've worked with this around. And I'm thinking of one woman particularly where she was a very, very ecstatic and very open with her body and felt a lot of pleasure, and she was very in her body, and it made her family feel really uncomfortable. So they actually would ground her all the time, and they would not let her really fully live her life. And she actually began to turn to food to get her aliveness, because she wasn't able to fully express herself, to fully be herself. And I've heard this over and over again. So I want you to think about where in your life you know that you are amazing. I want you to think about, and sometimes it's helpful when you think of, okay, what do my friends always say about me? Oh, they say that my hair always looks good, or they say I'm a really, I'm very dependable, or whatever that is. I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about what it would feel like if you would give yourself permission. So here's my blank page. This is you kind of filling the page. Where could you bring in more permission in your life? And imagine that you see those words up there. Take a deep breath into that. Where can you give yourself more permission? And then I want us to look at the fear. The fear, my friends, the fear. Like, what would happen if you gave yourself permission to have confidence? It's so scary. It can feel really scary. Like, are you kidding me? You want me to have confidence in myself? There's no way I can do that. Like, that can like take, almost like take our breath away. There's a reason we're not in our confidence, and it is because of a fear. It is because of a fear. And I'm wondering what that fear is for you. I know what it was for me. My fear was I would gain weight. If I liked the body I was in right now, if I felt confident in the body that I was in, oh my gosh, I'm going to like totally like eat whatever I want. I'm going to like binge and not worry about it. I'm not going to take care of myself. I'm going to gain tons of weight. See, I used my fear. I used my obsession as a diet tactic. It kept me in line. It was like getting the whip out, right? It was getting the whip and being like, nope, you do not have confidence. You're not allowed to have confidence, because if you do, you'll gain weight. And that was bloody scary. And I have to say that the opposite happened for me. May not happen for everyone. And I don't say that have confidence and you will lose weight. But for me, when I completely gave myself permission and surrender to have confidence in the body that I'm in, I got the body that I wanted without all the pain and struggling. Just want to add that. They won't love me. Yeah, we are in this society that tells us we're supposed to look a certain way, right? And we really want to be part of a tribe. We want to belong. And if we feel like, if we have confidence that we're not going to be loved, or someone's going to tell us that we're wrong, it can be scary. It can be fully scary to accept that. I'm not allowed. Yeah, that goes back to society. I'm not allowed to love this body. Are you kidding me? I'm not allowed. There's just no way. Like, everyone knows that this body is not something that I'm allowed to be confident in, right? I say bull BS to that. And I was told I wasn't good enough, right? So this is a big one for people. I don't have this specifically in my story, but I when we are told by others at a very young age that we're not the weight that we're supposed to be, when people are putting their own their own fears about body onto us. They're telling us we're not pretty enough, we're not good enough in the body that we are. It feels like there's an added like blanket of discomfort on us, someone else's beliefs on us. But this is what this is all about. It's about shedding that. It's giving full permission to ourselves. They can have their own opinion, but it's about us owning our own opinion. And it's about us shifting our opinion so that we can feel a different way. And I know that's a big subject, right? That is a big subject. All of these are a huge subject. Okay, I totally get that. But it's important for us to look at those fears, because that, and you can add yours to it, that is the reason we're not having the confidence. So I want you to really look at what your fear is, because that's where you're going to need to dive into. And what we want to look at is why. Why are we willing to go through the pain and the fear of what we just talked about to have body confidence? Like, what's it going to give you? I told you what it gave me. What's it going to give you? Why is it so important to you? What are you going to get from it? Are you going to get the opportunity to, feel better, feel more alive? Are you going to have more peace of mind? Like, what is it for you? Because when we have our why, it helps us to move through some of those growing pains to a place where we're feeling better about ourselves. So I want you to get really clear. I want you to write it down. Write this down, screenshot this, and do a little journaling on it. Why is it imperative for me to have body confidence? So I want to tell you how I could have put, it would have probably been better if I said, how did I reclaim my body confidence? Because I did have body confidence for a while, and then I let it go. I chose to leave it go. So how did I reclaim my body confidence? So in my journey, when I think about all of the ways that I have recovered, there was one through line that helped me. There was one aspect or essence that was the through line in all of my recovery. And I want to share that with you. It is pleasure. Pleasure has been with me on my journey of recovery. It has been present in all those aha moments, all those specific things that I would do for myself, all the things that I was learning. Oh my gosh, pleasure was truly the key. And when I learned, when I'm talking about pleasure, I'm not talking about instant gratification, although I'm okay with that too. I'm literally talking about that feeling, that inner knowing that our body, our being, our essence knows that we are on the right track. It's like our intuition. It's when our body's intuition that lets us know that we're on the right track with something. That's pleasure. So I got a lot of pleasure through Reiki. So I mentioned before that I'm a Reiki master for about 12 years. And I learned so much through Reiki, so much pleasure. Reiki taught me how to not have so much judgment on my body, taught me how to look at myself more than just my body, to have not such crazy expectations of myself. It literally flooded me. If you're not familiar with Reiki, Reiki is hands-on healing modality and spiritual practice that is truly the essence of love. So it helped me because I was pouring Reiki unconditional love through my body. So I got to see and feel where I was out of alignment with that. Like, wow, I'm sharing all about Reiki and I'm still having really judgmental thoughts about myself. So Reiki really helped me with that. Also, I got a lot of pleasure through Tantra, which makes a lot of sense, right? I'm a Tantra teacher, and I was really dove into women's sexuality studies and sensuality studies. And I got to see where I was very much disconnected to my body, very much disconnected to my sexuality, and where I cut myself off from pleasure. And I just want to be really honest here and just talk about, you know, the all that's going on in the media around sexual trauma. I don't know the statistic, and it's something I need to look up, but, you know, people who do struggle with their bodies and a lot of eating disorders, there's a high level of people who've had sexual trauma where they've literally cut themselves off from their body because of a sexual trauma or some sort of violation. And that can show up even if it wasn't an actual violation that happened, but just being a woman, just being a woman, there's so much on us, right? And so for me, this was a big, important piece to really reclaim my sexuality for myself and own that and let go of a lot of shame. And then found so much pleasure through all my practices. I did therapy. I did Overeaters Anonymous for years, probably saved my life. My recovery, I learned, and pleasure came through breath work and mindset shifts and tools and my yoga. And all of these things really, really supported me. And pleasure was really a key piece through all of that. Pleasure and permission, right? Pleasure and permission. The permission to have more pleasure, the permission to be okay with my body, right? And Let's talk about the opposite of that. Let's talk about the opposite of pleasure, which is no pain, no gain. So that's what we've grown up in, right? We are just taught this. I mean, it's the American dream, right? To strive and have nothing. And then all of a sudden, through all this pain and all this sweat and these tears, now we've triumphed, right? And the lower we are and the more discomfort we had, the more we give the accolades of, wow, you've done such a great job. You've worked so hard. And now you deserve this, right? And that's what we often do with our bodies. It's like, I don't deserve that body unless I am really struggling with my food, unless I'm really restricting with my food, unless I'm like not giving myself pleasure around it. We bring out the whip, we make ourselves work out really, really hard. And that's the other side of it. And this is something that's really ingrained in our being, to think that we're not allowed to have something unless we have really worked really hard, whether it's your body, whether it's your relationship with your food, whether it's your relationship, even your relationships, right? It's like, no, I have to work really hard on this. Relationships are hard. Marriage is hard, right? Raising kids is hard, right? It's like really changing our mindset into like, wow, how can we allow ourselves to use pleasure as our guide? Pleasure as our guide. And it's a real mind shift. And it's taken me a long time, but it's really important. And when we talk about relationships, see, I believe that creating a good relationship, it is about listening, right? So if we're friends, our relationship comes from good listening. It comes from talking. It comes from give and take and understanding and forgiveness. It comes from me being quiet. It comes from you being quiet. It comes from a deep trust. And that, my friends, is pleasure. That's what we're doing. We're slowing down to have a new connection and a more pleasurable connection with our bodies. See, if you were like me, I didn't have that connection with my body. I overrode everything. I didn't listen to my body. I didn't listen when it was hungry. I didn't listen when it was full. I didn't listen when it wanted to rest. I didn't listen when it wanted to keep going. I didn't listen because I didn't trust my body. And what I've learned through the years of looking at pleasure as my guide is that it has created trust. It has created a whole new relationship with my body that has changed everything. So we want to look now at where we can actually bring this pleasure in. So we can bring pleasure in with our food. Wouldn't that be nice to enjoy our food more? Pleasure with how we talk, self-talk, how we move our bodies and how we exercise. Pleasure through self-care. Are you taking care of yourself? And through sexuality, which is pretty obvious. But I want to give you some examples of what I mean, the practical tools of pleasure, because it's a nice concept and it makes sense the way, you may have questions about it. If you do, write them down. And we'll talk about it in the Q&A. But it's really the practical, what do you mean, Marla, by pleasure and food? How do we actually bring pleasure into our food? There we go. There's a big piece of chocolate cake. So my relationship with chocolate and chocolate cake is I really truly believe that I did not know how to control myself around food, around chocolate. I thought that I liked it so much and I loved it so much and I had so much pleasure with chocolate cake that I just couldn't do it. I'm just addicted to it. But when I slowed down and looked at it, there was no pleasure in this relationship. I had so much angst about it because I was so uncomfortable. Am I allowed to eat the chocolate cake? Is it okay if I eat the chocolate cake? I don't know if I should eat the chocolate cake. Did I exercise today? Am I going to exercise tomorrow? I don't know. I mean, I wonder how many calories are in that chocolate cake. Is there dairy in that chocolate cake? I wonder if there's gluten in that chocolate cake. So I'm giving you my mind, right? So by the time I got to the piece of chocolate cake sitting on my plate, there was so much angst and upset around it that I was filled with stress that I would just eat it as quick as I could. Eat it as quick as I could eat it. And when I ate it that quick, I didn't enjoy it. And because I ate it that quick, I didn't enjoy it, so I want to eat more. So then I eat more, and then I feel shame and I feel guilt. How could I can't believe I ate that much. I can't believe I ate that much chocolate cake. That's disgusting. See, Marla, that's just wrong. And then what would I do? Because I was feeling shame and guilt about it, and in a way to make myself feel better, I would eat more chocolate cake. And then I came up with the idea that I love chocolate cake so much that I just cannot control myself around it. But that is the exact opposite. I had so much pain around chocolate cake that I couldn't let myself enjoy it. So we want to look at how can we use pleasure with food. I can slow down. I can slow down and look at my beliefs around chocolate cake. I'm not worthy of chocolate cake. That is, see, when I talk about pleasure, I'm not talking about not looking at some of the pain points. I'm talking about being willing to look at some of the negative beliefs and being willing to do some of the inner work that may feel painful in a way, in honor of the other side of it, which is a lot more pleasure and a lot more joy. Does that make sense? So when I slow down with my food, I can enjoy it. And I don't maybe need 2 pieces. Probably just need 1 piece of chocolate cake because I'm enjoying it. I'm allowing myself to enjoy it. And I don't have the shame around it. And the shame around it sets me up to want more of it because I'm actually not allowed to have it, right? Pleasure and exercise. I love this picture. So I was more of an exercise bulimic. And that means like if I overate, then I would exercise. If I overate, I wouldn't even say overate, probably just ate more than I wanted to. I would then try to exercise the food away. I can remember one time when I was in a theater tour, and we used to tour around in this van, and I used to get up in the morning, like before we would leave. I would get up at 4 or 5 in the morning to get on the treadmill because we'd be in the van all day. And I'm on this treadmill and I fell asleep while I was running. I fell and banged myself. I mean, I could have really hurt myself. But that moment in time was such a painful moment, like totally overriding my body, totally not listening to what my body, which wanted rest, didn't want to wake up in the middle of the night practically to exercise because I was afraid of sitting in the van for hours and afraid that I was going to gain weight. So we need to look, like I've had to turn that around. And like I said, it's really been about trusting. Oh, wow, my body wants to stay in bed. It doesn't want to get up. Oh, my body wants to do yoga and not go for a run. And for some people who maybe not like to exercise, pleasure for you may be like, no, you're getting out of bed and you are exercising because it's going to make you feel better. And it's going to bring your endorphins and you're going to feel better about yourself, right? And that's why pleasure is such a moment-to-moment experience for us, because one day pleasure can mean one thing, one day it can mean something else. What it can mean to me could be completely opposite to you. And then pleasure and self-talk. Oh, my friends, this is the big one. This is the key. This is one of the most important things that I share with people, because you can do all the things that I was telling you before, but if you're still beating yourself up and talking negative about yourself, if you are still finding ways to look in the mirror and say something negative, or if you find yourself saying negative things to yourself, it's just not pleasurable. Your life is in pain. And we can do that to ourselves so easily by comparing ourselves to others. I mean, we can just knock ourselves down. And when we find ways to have more positive self-talk, we're letting go of that stress. You see, negative self-talk is a critical risk factor for the development of eating disorders. And those who have had an eating disorder and they're in recovery, Negative self-talk is the primary cause for relapse. So I'm not saying you have an eating disorder, and I'm not saying you're going to get one. I'm just telling you that negative self-talk is not some small thing. Negative self-talk just floods us with stress hormones. It just floods us with cortisol. It floods us with like stress. And what does stress do? Stress is a culprit for all dis-ease. So when we're in a negative self-talk pattern, we are not feeling good. We're creating so much stress and anxiety in our bodies. And we, my friends, this is the key right here, right now. This is the key to body confidence. And we're going to dive deep into this because this is some of the secrets, all the things I just shared with you, you've got along the way. But this is where I really want you to pay really good attention. I want you to write some notes around this because we're going to dive into the secrets to body confidence, and it has all to do about how we talk to ourselves. So I want you to, so step one in body confidence, step one to pleasure and self-talk is to become ultra aware of your thoughts. So I want you to turn up that witness. So we often think that our thoughts are something we can't control. And we often think that there's only one voice in there. But that's actually not true. If you noticed, there's a voice witnessing, right? There's like the craziness, and then there's you witnessing the crazy talk, right? I want you to notice what it is that you're saying about yourself. It's like when you go into meditation and you see your thoughts and you hear them, you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm thinking that. Wow, I can't believe I just said that about myself. Wow, I can't believe I'm comparing myself to that person. Wow, why am I doing this, right? I want you to be really aware of what you're thinking. Because when you're aware, what happens when you're aware is you begin to have more control, and you begin to sort out and begin to notice, oh, I don't actually believe that. That's something that someone else said to me once, and that's not actually true for me. Or that's something my dad said to me, and whatever, he can have that back because that's not serving me anymore, right? Like we get to have a little more power. We get to take back our power, and that happens by starting in our head. That happens with our thoughts. Now, the next thing, after we become really aware of your thoughts, what I want you to do is I don't want you to say anything negative about yourself out loud. So any of those crazy thoughts that you're thinking, I don't want you to say them out loud. I don't want you to talk about yourself to anyone. I want you to zip your lip when all your friends are talking about themselves and saying negative things about, women get together and they just bond around talking negative about themselves. I don't want you to do it. I want you to be quiet. I want you to give any more energy into this negativity around our bodies. I want you to be the one to hold back. No, I'm not saying that saying something like to a friend that you can be like, listen, I'm really feeling uncomfortable in my body. I really do not like, I'm just feeling really uncomfortable that I can't fit into this or that. And you're having like a heartfelt conversation where someone can hear you and hold space for you. That's different than that constant complaining and being negative. I want you to knock it off. Knock it off. I just want it to be quiet. Okay? Because what I want you to notice is how much you feel like you need to say something negative about yourself, right? And when we slow down the thoughts, when we stop talking, we stop feeding it. We stop feeding that negative, that neural pathway. We've created a negative neural pathway that is creating more negative thoughts, creating more, it's taking us away from body confidence. If you're beating yourself up, you're not feeling confident. If you're saying mean things about yourself out loud, you're degrading yourself. You're not creating confidence. You're doing the opposite. If you have any questions around this, I want you to write them down to ask me later, okay? And even not even just questions, even just some comments that you want to talk about your experience. You can write that in you'll see where there's a chat, and you can start writing there. If you want to write some things now, that's fine too. The next one is to get out of your head and into your body. If you go to my website, I have a free meditation there called Get Out of Your Head and Into Your Body. So when we're in craziness, when we're in that loop, and you know that loop, right? We know that loop, that one that goes around and around, and it says, I'm not good enough, I'm not this. It just keeps continuing to say the wrong thing. We're feeling really bad. What we need to do is get out of there. It's not a safe place. We're not safe there. It's not going to serve you to stay there. I want you to get out of your head and into your body. I want you to do what we just did. I want you to go for a run. I want you to dance. I want you to do something, breath work. I want you to get out of whatever you're doing in your head and get into your body, move your body. That is going to shift it. That's going to, as Tony Robbins says, it's a pattern interrupt. We're taking the pattern and we're saying no. That's literally what we're doing with our being ultra aware of our thoughts and not saying anything negative about ourselves out loud. We're breaking the pattern interrupt. This one's so helpful. It's also helpful because it allows us to begin to create more trust in our body, and allows us to become more connected to our bodies. See, if we're having crazy thoughts about ourselves in our head is not going to be the place to help us figure it out. Our bodies, how our bodies feel, how it feels alive, what's going on in our bodies, not just about what we think about ourselves, but how we literally feel in our body, the pleasure that we allow ourselves to feel in our bodies. So I'm just going to slow that down for a moment. So we're getting out of negative thoughts and we're getting into our body, we're getting into the pleasure of our body. So, sometimes it's even just like touching your skin or doing movement that feels good or doing an activity where you are in your body to do it and it feels good to your body. So we need to shift out of the mindset of being a body that moves us around and we hope it looks good from the outside, rather than turning it around into, I actually feel good in my body. It feels good. I like the way I'm feeling. I'm releasing tension, right? There's a difference there. Yeah. The next one is to be of service. And I did a Facebook Live about this not that long ago. And it's really like when we're in craziness, we literally got to get out of ourselves and go and help someone else. Go support someone else. Because when we're not feeling good about our bodies, when we're in the place where our life gets really, really small. We get really small and it gets really disconnected. But when we're of service and we get to look around us and be like, oh, I can actually help you. Oh, I could help you. And we do it as an action. Like I'm taking the action to look for someone who may need me so that I can get out of this and know that I am more than just what my body looks like. And the fifth one is to build your positive talk muscle. So this whole thing that I just talked about is literally the first 4 here. It's about taking that negative self-talk muscle that is really strong and really and making it super, super, super weak. And then what we have to do now is build up our positive talk muscle and make it big, make it feel really, really alive. That's what we want to do. How can we do that? Well, we can first off notice where we're uncomfortable saying nice things about ourselves. But we can say them to ourselves. We literally can say them to ourselves. And I'm not talking about bragging. Do you ever have someone just say, I'm sure you've heard it, Yeah, well, I make really good pumpkin muffins. I'm really good at making them. Yeah, one of the things I'm really good at is graphic design. I'm really good at I see design. Um, I know for me, I'm really good at helping people to like their bodies and feel better about themselves. One of the things I'm really good at is helping people to not be so judgmental. Do you see how I just said that? Just said it. Not that big of a deal. It's just a fact. I'm not bragging. It's just the truth. That's what I want you to practice. I want you to think about, I want you to go back to the permission. I want you to go back to the permission. Where can I just say things like, yeah, you know what? Like, I like my green eyes. I've always liked them. Not that many people have green eyes, and I'm grateful for my green eyes. So I want you to look at where you can build up your positive talk muscle. And let yourself say good things about yourself. Let yourself say kind things. And I want you to say them in the mirror. I want you to look at your legs and say, I like my legs, even if they're blah, blah, blah. Or don't even do the blah, 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 right? That is truly important because we can't take away something. What happens is when we take away the negative thoughts, there can be like an emptiness. Sometimes that emptiness feels so good. It's like, oh my gosh, so much peace. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then there's also what we can fill in the in space of that. We can fill into the space of getting in touch with our bodies, being of service, and creating more positivity. Yeah? So my friends, this is going to be really key for you. Really key for you to begin to shift out of not having confidence in yourself, beating yourselves up all the time, to turning that around to having more confidence in your body. I'm going to say it again. You can read it here. You're going to be aware of your thoughts. You're not going to say anything out loud about yourself. Nothing. You're going to get out of your head and into your body, and you're going to be of service, and you're going to build that positive talk muscle. Yes? Are you going to do it? I want you to stop for a moment and see if you're committed to that. It's kind of big. It's not like some small thing, right? It's just not. It's not small. It's a little bit it takes practice, like I said before. It's like really about implementing it into your life, right? So I know that if you're still here on this call, that you are committed, and you must have been struggling with body confidence to begin with, and you're probably feeling a little bit hopeful about what you've learned, right? And you obviously know that beating yourself up is not going to create body confidence. It's just not. It just doesn't. There's just no way. It's so obvious. And when we look around at everyone who's struggling in the world, you included, myself in the past included, we know that it just doesn't work. And we also know that there's a really smart way and another way to look at this. And the other way is to look through pleasure, through the approach of pleasure. So you're probably wondering what you can do and how you can be supported to implement these tactics and these strategies long term, right? Because I told you it took me a while. I don't want to take that long for you. And that's why the best thing that I can do to support you is to share with you my program called The Pleasure Plan. Let's see if I have a slide here. Yes, here it is. So here it is. Here's the Pleasure Plan. It starts in just 12 weeks. In 12 days. It's an 8-week online program. So what I want to do is I want to go over the Pleasure Plan, and I want to tell you exactly what it is and how it can help you. And if it's right for you, I want you to do it. Just do it. It's time. It's just time, right? It's time to do it. If it's not right for you, then great. Don't do it. But what I've done in this program is I've taken everything that I've learned. I've all the places, all the negative places that I've turned around, all the pain places that I've turned around, all of my expertise in supporting women to get out of that painful pattern I have created this into this system, and give me so much pleasure to help you to implement this, right? So here's how we did it. So here's why you would want it. If you want freedom with food, you want that confidence, and you want me to help you make sure that you're doing it and creating it in your life. If you want to feel more comfortable in your body, and you want to love your body and yourself unconditionally, right? That's a big one. That's a huge undertaking. That's one we're working on for the rest of our lives, really, right? And so you can begin to speak kind to yourself. So this is what the pleasure plan is. It is those practical tools. It's the practical tools that I'm going to teach you in 8 weeks as your guide to make better decisions with your food, movement, exercise, self-care, self-talk, your sexuality, and your sensuality, right? So each module it's an 8-week course, and there's 7 different modules, and we dive into all of this. We dive into pleasure in food, and I teach you. We go into where your pain is around food, and I help you to shift that, right? I help you to figure out where your pain points are so that you can create more pleasure with your relationship with food. What's your relationship with exercise? I'm going to teach you how to feel healthier. I'm going to teach you how to trust your body, and this is what's really fun is I teach you a way to find the right exercise for you. Because a lot of us are doing exercises that are just not right for our bodies. There's certain exercises that are right for me. There's a certain way for me to move my body that's not right for you. I mean, we need to trust ourselves and find a way. And I help you to figure that out. Also, I teach you about pleasure and self-care. And we really learn how we can use self-care, how we can stop overriding ourselves, our needs, and create healthy boundaries with others, which is a big piece about self-care. We go into pleasure and sexuality. We talk about our own shame around our sexuality. I teach you different ways to connect to your sensuality and to your sexuality. And pleasure and self-talk, which we already went through, and we go deeper in. I give you guided meditations. We dive into all of this. This is implemented through all of it. So that's kind of how it works here. And so with the pleasure plan, it's 8 weeks. We have 8 coaching calls. So it's a container. Like, we're working it. We're diving in. You have my attention. We have a Facebook group. You have a workbook. You have journaling exercises. It's actually a whole website. So you get video modules that you have access to all the time. I give you movement, breath exercises, and I have guest pleasure speakers. So I have some good ones lined up. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah. So that's what you get. This picture is actually kind of funny to me. Looks like she's gonna like devour that apple. That's Aphrodite, by the way. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what you get with the pleasure plan. And this is what it is. Here's your investment. It's $697, and it's 3 payments of $260. So it's pretty, like, that's rocking. Like, I mean, it's jam-packed, people. It's full. I actually have a VIP program too, where you get private sessions with me along with that. I didn't bring that up in here, but if you want to know more about that, you can ask me. And then, of course, because we're here and this is what we do, we create bonuses because it's fun. The bonuses are that you get a one-on-one complimentary session with me. And that's great. So you and I can dive in like, let's do it, right? You get Reiki from me every single day. I have this program called Everyday Reiki, where I send long distance Reiki to people. And wow, it has been so powerful and so beautiful to be sending this Reiki. And it will really create such a beautiful container for you in this program to have this Reiki coming to you every single day. The other thing is you get a beautiful body love and self-care meditation from a dear friend of mine who's an expert, a sexual wellness expert, Eva Clay. She's fantastic, and you will love her. So this is all of the bonuses that you would get. And on top of that, for the people that are on this call and who are watching this, you also get $200 off the price. So more pleasure in your pocket. So that makes it $497. That's really good. I'm really excited to be able to give that to you all. I really appreciate you watching this. I appreciate you showing up for yourself. This is where we need to decide for ourselves. Like, do we want this? What is stopping us? What is stopping us from creating this? Like, when is it going to be? When is it going to be the time? When are you going to let go of the fear? When are you going to stop avoiding situations because of your body? It's like, it's time to step up and step in and say, yeah, I really want to do this. I want to feel better about myself. I want to feel more confident. I want to release the shame. I want to dive in. And this is the way. So here's what you got to do. And what you're going to do next, okay? You're going to go to thepleasureplan.org, and there are two codes. So if you want to do, there's a payment plan that I have. If you want to use a payment plan, you're going to use this code, okay? Or you're going to use this code if you want to pay in full. Don't you love that? I'm worth it. I'm beautiful. And once you do that, once you make your payment and you put in your code there and you get the $200 off, you're going to get an email with access to the website. Now, this website you can dive in like tonight, where you can go and start diving into the modules and start looking at all the videos, going and diving into the work, right? And you get access to this forever. And you're going to get a personal email from me with information about the course. And then we're going to set up your one-on-one. Okay, so go ahead and screenshot this so you have it. This is your codes. This is what you're going to do next. You're going to decide how you want to pay. And the situation is that the offer is going to end in 2 days. So on October 14th, the price will go back up. So then it goes up $200, but you miss your bonuses. You miss your bonuses. So, and the bonuses again are complimentary one-on-one with me, Reiki every day, body love, self-care meditation, and $200 off. And yes, here it is. And there it is, the pleasure plan, people. Yay, wonderful. I'm so excited about this course. I've seen so many amazing things change for women where they've been binging and purging and they've left not doing that anymore. Like, I'm still following up these women and they've made lifetime changes. It's really huge. And it's just, there's just no need to struggle. There's no need to be in pain anymore, my friends. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back to you. Great. I'm seeing some chats. And hi, hello. Okay, people are just saying hello. Great. Now there's a Q&A here. I'm going to go ahead and I saw that someone raised their hand. So go ahead and ask some questions if you want to go ahead, and there's a Q&A, so it says no open questions. So if you have the Q&A button, you can go ahead and write a question in there, or you can go ahead and put it in the chat. So I'm going to give you a couple moments to check that out and tell me if you have any questions about the course, about your experience. I'd really love to know how you're feeling and what your experience has been. If you don't have any questions, that's fine. I'm going to give you another moment, and then we're going to call it a day. Okay, my friends. Okay, what would you do if you were on the beach and you feel so uncomfortable? Yeah, what do you do when you're on the beach and you feel so uncomfortable? It's a really good question. A bunch of different things. I've been there, right? I know how that feels. Feel really uncomfortable. I mean, you're on the beach, you're at a party, you're anywhere feeling really uncomfortable in your skin. You know, one of the things that I do for myself is I acknowledge that I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm like, oh goodness, I feel so uncomfortable, feeling really uncomfortable in my body right now. And I give myself a moment to feel that. I give myself the moment to be like, oh, Marla, I'm so sorry that you're feeling sad. I'm so sorry you're feeling uncomfortable. Because we don't want to override it, right? We don't want to override the feeling. But that when we can do is that in the moment where we're feeling uncomfortable, we can give ourselves some love and we can just notice, like, what can I do in this moment to make myself feel a little bit better? What would be a self-care action? Is it, you know, this may seem a little counterintuitive to what I would be talking about, but we're really looking at um, what makes you feel good in the moment. So maybe it's putting something on you, right? So maybe you were in your bathing suit and feeling uncomfortable, and now you want to put something on just to make yourself feel a little bit better. Maybe it's the opposite. I can remember when I was younger, and I remember telling my friend, oh my gosh, I feel so uncomfortable in my body. And she's like, put this on. She made me put on these short little shorts and this little mini shirt. And I was like, okay. And it kind of worked. It took me from like wanting to hide my body to like, okay, well, if I'm going to wear this, I better wear it. And it totally worked. I've thought about that many, many different times. But you just got to be with yourself. You really got to acknowledge, like, do I just need to like own it and work it and just, be okay? Or do I need to, cover myself and make myself feel a little more comfortable? I'm going to put some shorts on that's going to make me feel comfortable, and then I can show up and be more present, right? Because it's not about just feeling uncomfortable or comfortable. It's about showing up for your life, right? It's like, oh, I want to feel comfortable so that I can be there with my family and have a good time. It's not just so that we can be like in our bodies. It's like so we can be in our life, right? Let's see. I think there's another question here. What would you do if you had to choose between having pleasure with somebody from time to time or staying in a relationship where where there's no sex for years? I don't know if that's really a question for me to ask. It's really a question for you to ask yourself, because I don't have that situation going on in my life right now, right? So it's really important for you to look at, what do you want to do? What is good for you? See, because in every situation that we go into, there's pleasure and there's pain. So, if you leave this relationship, there will be pain and there will be a lot of pleasure in other ways in your life. And if you stay, maybe you're not going to get the sexual attention that you want, but you have the other pleasure. So that's really for you to decide. It's a really good question. And it's a really important one for you to get really quiet. What feels like, here's a good way to think about it for yourself. It's like, what feels like it creates more life for you, right? What feels like more vitality? What feels like, wow, if I stayed with this person, I'm still going to get this, 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 and this, and the love that I have, and that feels alive in you? Or is it actually, no, that isn't even I'm not going to get that? Or is it, oh, if I choose, it's going to be painful that I leave, but I'm going to get this, 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 and this, right? We don't know what you're going to have in the future, right? So I want you to look at that. I want you to look at where the pleasure is for you. Like, where is more pleasure? And I'm not just, like I said, I'm not talking about instant gratification. I'm talking about more life, more vitality, more you showing up more in your life. Where are you going to be more authentic, right? Hopefully that was helpful. Any other questions? No? Okay, my friends. Thank you so much for showing up, for being here the whole time. I'd love to get your feedback from you. I'd love to hear how it was for you. I'm going to send you an email. I'll send you the replay for you to have. Go ahead, go to thepleasureplan.org, sign up. Let's make this happen today. All right, sending you so much love. Mwah. Bye, everyone.